everyone. I'm Allison. Thank you for joining me for Where I'm From 190 with Adrian Ernesto. What have you been reading? I read Another Bullshit Night in Suck City by Nick Flint, which it's having its 20th anniversary, and we're reading it for book club. I like the title a lot. That was, and I also enjoyed having people ask me what it was about with that based on that title. So yeah, I just read Another Bullshit Night in Suck City. It's about, I feel like most people know it in the book. Didn't. And it's about his father and homelessness and alcoholism and narcissism and Boston. That's my summary. Hi, Adrian Ernesto. I know the title's the best, Sonia. I did approve your request twice, and we'll see. I'm going to invite you. See what happens. Um, it's Friday, and I'm glad it's Friday. I got up, and I'm here. And, okay, accept again. 3 times the charm, maybe. 4 times. uh, I feel like if you've watched many of these, Adrian Ernesto, you will see that this happens often. And if it doesn't happen soon, I'll start over. And hopefully it says you're unable to join, which means you'll either be able to join immediately after that or I'll just start over. Okay. I'm giving it one last shot. And then I'm going to start over. Oh, yep. Hi.
I'm here.
It's like it hears me and it hears me say I'm going to start over and then it decides to cooperate. So
No, it actually was my fault because I had my microphone off from an Instagram app, so I had to go back and turn it on, and you, you know how it is.
but you figured it
I
out,
did.
which is actually impressive instead of just throwing your phone across the room. Not that I
Oh,
ever do that, but I just have the temptation sometimes.
I hear
I
you.
got suspended from Facebook like 2 days ago.
For what?
I had no idea. No idea. I was posting about the sibling loss collection that I co-edited. So my husband was joking that people are posting there about being Nazis and I'm posting about grief. And they're like, no, no,
Wow.
we don't want to talk about sadness. That's not, nope. I mean, I literally have no idea. I'm not even that bothered because I don't really like it there. But uh, I also do have community there. It's very fraught,
Yeah,
you
it,
know?
it's tough because there's a lot of people that I know, that writers and stuff that I know that are
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah. Yeah. So you care about that. I care about that.
Yeah,
But the place itself is kind
yeah,
of ick, you know?
absolutely.
But how are you today? You're always so nice in your emails. You always ask, how are you? It's very thoughtful.
Oh, yeah. I'm okay. Like I say, it's a very eventful month
Yeah.
in our family. My dad's birthday was the second. Our anniversary is on the
Hmm.
12th. On the 14th is my birthday, and then I'm
Oh.
gonna go visit my father this month. He's having surgery, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go take care of him. He's out of town, so there's lots of stuff going on. I'm working on an anthology that I'm editing called Anger is a Gift.
Mm-hmm.
It's response poems from the elections, getting lots of help. Lupin Montiel, who's a poet, is our art curator, and she's bringing a lot of
Oh,
art
nice.
to the anthology. So we should be getting a pre-order link very, very
Good.
soon. It's going to come out through Luchador Press, which is a subsidiary of Flower Song Press.
Hmm.
So excited about that. That's coming out in August. So I'll be
Congratulations.
I'll be spending the next month and a half editing and everything. So doing that before that happens. I'm very excited about that. I think it's very essential that re, that resistance to art um, is essential nowadays. And we're actually gearing our anthology. At the end of the anthology, we have discussion questions and exercises for classrooms,
Mhm.
for college students, and hopefully universities. And that's what we're gearing to. I'm gonna send a whole bunch of stuff off to a lot of the writers that work in universities,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
see if we can go in the classroom and talk with the students. Have a couple events. We're also gonna do some tie-ins because we're gonna have a lot of art
Mhm.
and art museums. So we're trying to hit the museums and the universities and the colleges.
I think it's so
Any place else
important.
will have us.
Yeah, I
But
think
the
it's great.
but the first part, because you're talking about your anthology now,
Mhm.
being an editor for the first time, it's a different beast.
It is.
Yeah, I
I
went.
mean, I think labor of love is for me, very apt phrase for this. Like, it's really, I'm so proud of it in a very different way than other things. It feels significant to me. Bringing the people together, creating community. I also felt, I don't know if you felt this way, but asking people to contribute, particularly it was a sibling loss anthology, but I think it's probably similar with your content, saying, I see you, please come share your voice with us, feels very powerful.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
one of the things that I kind of like made a lot of poets hesitant is we had like a line, like 24 line
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
limit. Because if not, I
mm-hmm,
would have gotten like
mm-hmm.
epic poems,
Yeah.
and I kind of wanted to
Yeah.
keep. So, uh, because I as a poet love love, love it when there's like a line limit because it's very
Yeah.
challenging because it forces me to cut all the meat and just keep the essential part of the poem. So I
Yeah.
love the line limits. Some poets don't.
Mm-hmm.
So there were a lot of poets that didn't. A lot of poets were doing other projects and didn't do it. And by the end of I had so many poems that the anthology was telling me what needed to stay, and I'm so
Mm-hmm.
proud of it because the poems are so inspiring and empowering, and I'm really proud of of all the poems that, that are in the anthology, and I'm really excited for people to be inspired
Mm-hmm.
and empowered by the
Mm-hmm.
anthology as you are with your anthology. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that I wish had existed for me. So I'm grateful that I could help it exist for others who need it. Um,
Yes.
and I look forward to reading your book. And Sonia, who's here with us, says she hopes to see it at the Walker in Minneapolis. So, um,
Awesome.
yeah,
Hey, Sonia.
yeah. But I think with everything that's going on in the world, not just politics, but AI, and I think it's so significant and important to keep talking about the importance of people creating things. And
Absolutely.
and I
I
think
agree.
creating things it's like an innately human response to what we're all living through. So keep creating,
Yes.
everybody. Do it.
It's so important.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and trying to hijack that, I think, is like incredibly political.
Yeah.
It's and so don't let them. Anyway, would you like to read your poem? It's so
Sure.
beautiful and such a love letter to
Yeah.
music.
I thought the prompt was
It
amazing, and I was so
is, right?
excited and inspiring. Okay, this is called de Donde Soy.
Mm-hmm.
I am from Patacones, from Colombiana, from Colombiana y Bocadillos. I am football fields, knees bruised from sliding to tackled, jersey torn from hearing eye of a tigre in my head, trying to score on on a breakaway. I always missed. I'm from Espinaca, my Flaco self wanting to swallow spinach to be like Popeye or the Incredible Hulk. I am from stopping at Dairy Queen on the way back from San Antonio. Joe and Rene backseat kung fu fighting to be the first in line to order a whipped cream sunset. Sundaes. I'm from the Los Malos son para los bienes. Piénsalo bien, muchacho. Y hablando rey de Roma se asoma. Mami's palabras were gospel. I'm from the art is spiritual family. The cathedral, movie theater, bookstore, and museum were a church in our family. Looking for signs in Picasso paintings, witnessing Indiana Jones miracles, John Williams' score on the movie screen, while kneeling to search for 100 years of solitude, soft cover to save our lives, chapter to chapter, on off the page. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, melting with Bogota, Colombiana heritage of arroz con pollo, lengua con garbanzo beans, and for the first time I tasted New England clam chowder during the summer of Jaws theme. We stayed at the beach in Martha's Vineyard. The same trip where Joe wandered off at the Boston airport and planes were held at the gate because security feared he had wandered inside the wrong avion. But my little hermano was strolling around thirsty for some Coca-Cola while singing I Like to Teach the World to Sing and looking for chocolate bars and dulces to feed his hunger. My older brother picked me up from high school on Thursdays, driving me to all the cool record stores in San Antonio. By playing his True Faith mixtapes, he introduced me to so many memorable genres and bands to me. I spin those same, the Beatles, the Doors, the Smith albums, the soundtrack to our loud brotherly rivalries. Poppy grounding me for my bad grades. My mommy crying in front of my record player, wondering if dad was going to move out for real. This time I spin How Soon Is Now, the ones that gave me a voice to sing when I would only stutter in front of my escuela girl crushes, classmates, and strangers. Always alone, lighting my fire in my solitary room at our fractured home. I may have had two brothers and mommy and poppy, but Musica was my only true friend.
Beautiful.
That just like
Um,
came out of me.
it was
And
just, I loved it. So
when I
evocative.
first wrote it, it's one of those rare times that it just comes out, and it's like you're just pulling it from. And it's just
It's,
it was a lot of fun to write. So thank you so
oh,
much.
thank you for being a part of it. It's the best, right? When you're in the flow,
Oh
it's
my
like
gosh,
magic.
yeah, and just
I don't,
reliving all those things totally
yeah.
happened. It was just like, uh, wow. I mean,
Mhm.
it's just like it's amazing how things like that make you who you are. You know, still to this day,
Yeah.
music is such an inspiration to me. When I was writing my last book, La Lengua Ensaime, which got published from Flower Song Press, there was a poem that I wrote about my father's all over it because we have a really close relationship, and
Mhm.
he ever since my mother passed away, we talk every week, and there was a couple weeks where he was going to be out of town because he had to go meet with my uncles for a very special family trip that he had to do. And I missed him a lot. And so I was listening to a lot of Miles Davis. And Miles Davis has a song called It's About Time that he wrote right after uh, one of his mentors died. And I just was listening to it and I was thinking about my father. And I wrote this poem about how much I missed him. And it was like one of my favorite things. And the song's like 20 minutes long. And but by the time I finished the poem, the song ended. And it's one of my favorite poems because in the poem it kind of ex, expresses and explains the relationship we've had, how it has evolved through the years, and it's just um, yeah,
It's a beautiful thing when relationships that are so meaningful to us can evolve.
absolutely,
Yeah. Because they don't always.
yeah.
So when they do, it's the best, I think.
I feel like I'm
Um,
closer to him
mhm,
now,
mhm,
even more than my older brother and little brother who live in the same city as
mhm.
him, and because I was always the rebel in the family. I'm the poet,
Exactly.
but yeah, we he really loves my work. He's one of my biggest champions, and so
That
he's
means a
like
lot.
it, he's taken over the mantle of my mother, who was the original one. So sadly, she died right before my first book was published, so she never got to see uh, any of my books published. I have six now, so it's kind of
Congratulations.
like,
That's a big accomplishment. I
yeah,
think one book is an accomplishment,
yeah.
so six is
But
a
it's
lot.
kind of like, it's kind of like bittersweet
Yeah.
because she never saw it. But
Yeah. But you feel her. Do you feel her?
absolutely, actually, I have a picture of her. We have in the living room. I we have this like double love seat couch, and I have a little table, and it's her a frame. I have a frame photo right next to me, and she loved tennis, and she got my wife and I into tennis again. So whenever we watch tennis, I feel like I'm watching it with her. So I look
Nice.
down, and I could swear like she's she's smiling sometimes from the picture, and it's one of the things I love doing because I just love. And actually, I was watching right before.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
semifinals
So
in
I was going to
Paris.
say it's a good time of year to be watching tennis.
Yeah, so I always so I feel like I'm always she's always there, and sometimes like uh, there's a poem I wrote about uh whenever I see a butterfly, I always think of her,
Yeah.
and so when I'm walking and then they appear, and I know that she's there. So that's amazing.
Yeah. I actually, I love listening to people talk about their loved ones because who have and the things and how they communicate with all of us. I think if we're open to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really it's amazing how like re- in May's the hardest
Mm,
is Mother's Day, and then her
mm,
birthday's
yeah.
difficult, and then
Mm,
the day when she passed.
mm,
I'll be okay, but then all of a sudden in my body, I feel it coming, and it's just like, why am I feeling this way? Oh yeah, that's why it's coming up, and
yeah.
I have to honor the hurt and
Mm,
ache because uh, for many years I kind of buried it,
yeah.
and then during the pandemic, it kind of like reared its head,
Yeah.
and uh, so that actually inspired like a whole book that
Mm,
that I wrote for her called "Speaking Speaking con su sombra." They're
mm,
poems that she inspired. Right after I would send my mother poems for like her birthday
mm,
and Christmas and stuff. And after she passed away, my dad gave me the envelope of the poems that she held.
mm,
And even though I wrote them, it took me like months before I could even open up.
yeah.
It was difficult. But after I looked through it, I'm like, oh, these are really good. So they kind of inspire. So the book is kind of like an
Oh,
inspiration.
that's really
It was
sweet.
it was all the poems in that and some new ones and stuff.
Yeah. I do you celebrate Dia de los Muertos?
Yeah, actually, there's once we had a membership to Descanso Gardens,
Oh, I
and
love
so
Pienso.
they had a whole
Yeah.
um, thing
Hmm.
Day of the Dead, and
Hmm.
so I went and I read a poem for her, and then I actually left a poem for her over
Oh,
there. So yeah,
yeah. It's a beautiful tradition. I think
absolutely.
I was actually talking with my therapist about grief yesterday, and we were talking about I'm not Jewish, but the tradition of sitting Shiva and how powerful that tradition is, and that's how I feel also about Dia de los Muertos. Like I feel like white people, just regular white people, aren't very good at grief. There's no like day or tradition, or it's just kind of like we don't talk about it, which
Yeah.
doesn't help anybody, and they just bury it.
Well, I mean, it happens in other communities also. Like I
Yes,
know the Latino community, they don't really talk about their emotions and stuff. It happens to other cultures
yes.
too, where they kind of. So I think it's kind of a universal thing. But
Unfortunately,
yeah.
yeah,
But I feel like your book, and then I think my book also, um, it opens up the conversations and
yeah,
how the personal is universal and
yeah,
how we all connected and how
yeah.
um, one of my favorite poems in that anthology is this poem about my mother used to talk to her plants and how
My
I
mom
so
talks to her
much,
plants too.
and it just how that's such a universal thing, and that's just how how beautiful it is. And now my mother and now my
Mm-hmm.
wife, she actually it's like her favorite thing. It's something mother. She has a home little garden, and she goes over there and she does the same thing. So it's like
Yeah.
it's kind of like it's passed down.
I
Well, I think more so that she's actually taken that because my mother used to do that a lot of time. Now, not that her mother didn't used to do it, but I know that uh, it's important for her, my wife.
I certainly feel like I took on some of my brother's traits when he died as a way to honor him, whether it was conscious or not. It's there for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, yeah. And plants, my plant is literally saying to me right now, you need to water me. So, it's like sitting right over there. Like, hey, look at me. I think they talk to us. I don't think that's controversial. They do,
Oh, not at
for
all.
sure. Like, they're living beings
Yeah,
that are, hanging out with us.
yeah.
And
I think people who are connected to nature. I think for myself because I was born in Detroit, but I feel when I came here, I got really, really connected to the land
mm,
and then everything in nature, and it made me a better
mm,
artist. So I feel
mhm.
like people really connected to nature are more open. I feel like they're more spiritual because they really connect. I think it's a rare thing. I think if more people will go outside, I think it's. One of my mentors used to tell us. I got my FA at Antioch University, Los Angeles. She said you
Okay.
should go outside and walk with your poem. Absolutely,
Oh,
I think it's so true. But yeah,
some of my best stuff comes when I'm walking around. I love just walking around. It's one of my favorite. I had a friend visit this week and she wanted to go to Disneyland, and I was like, I can't, I just can't. So instead, we walked around and smelled flowers and touched their leaves, and it was the best. It was like I went up to Kenneth Hahn, and I don't know if you know that area, but it's like a decent area size, and there's trees, and there were lots of wildflowers, and there was a great blue heron right there.
wow,
Like I don't know, magic's all around us.
absolutely. I actually go. I actually walk a mile every morning.
Yeah.
I think it's important. I love it around the neighborhood, but I need it because I inherited a bad back from my dad.
Hmm.
So yeah, so it kind of helps loosen it up for
For sure.
if I walk for a mile, it actually for the rest of the day I should be okay.
I agree. Adrian Ernesto, I had a pinched nerve last summer, which was terrible and so painful. And the only way I could even function at all was I had to walk in the morning just to get it all manageable.
And then I
And
also stretch my back. I did some yoga yesterday, and that actually
yeah,
helped too.
I stretch a lot. I joked with my spine person, like it's a part-time job functioning, doing all the things to not be in pain. But it's worth it because pain is
Absolutely.
terrible. Um, well, any other last thoughts? I knew this would be very enjoyable because even your emails are enjoyable. And I wanted to give a shout out to your Instagram account because I love it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it here, but it's Poet Not a Rock Star. And you must put a lot of time into it because your posts are really wonderful and a lot of them.
Um, Not as much as I used to. I kind of felt
Okay.
like I actually took
Diminishing returns.
I took a sabbatical from
Mm,
social media for a couple of
mhm.
weeks
Yeah.
because I kind of felt like I was doing too much, and I was like, why am
Mm,
I doing this? So
mhm,
I do stuff, but it's not as much as I
mhm.
used to. I kind of felt like it was just like I was getting anxiety from doing it, and I felt
Yeah.
like so
Yeah.
now I do a little less, but I still it's the idea is still there, but it's not as much as I used to. Because if it's not being fun, if I'm just
Hmm.
you know
I know.
it's
Yeah.
hurting my anxiety, it's
Yeah.
not good. Let
we
it
have to
edit.
take care of ourselves. But I just want to say to anybody who's not following Adrian Ernesto, it's worth it because, especially if you're a writer, because it's just really inspiring and validating. And it's just kind of always there. You're oftentimes one of the first people who pops up in my feed because you post so often. So, it's like, I don't know. It's just, I really appreciate it. So I just wanted you to know because I think sometimes it feels like with social media, we're like yelling out into the void. But I
Yeah.
just wanted you to know, like, and I do try to like your posts and share them, like, so you know I exist and I'm engaging. But I appreciate it.
And I just want to share that the anthology Anger's Gifts to be coming out August 4th, and we should have a pre-order link hopefully by um, next week's sometime. They're working on the cover art, and so I'm looking forward to starting the promotion process for that.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I'm so excited for the world to see it. It's going to be like I want it to be like an artifact of this time that we're living in,
Yeah.
full of art and poetry that will be inspiring for other artists to hopefully for them to create their own art. And
Hmm. Yeah.
I'm really excited for that to come to life. It's going to be birthed soon, so I'm really
Yeah.
excited.
And do you see the love in the chat? One of my favorite poets, your friend, who I know his handle, but I don't know his name, and he's going to be joining me for. I mean, I do know his name, but I can't bring it up right
Uh,
now.
it's I know his name. Can I say it?
Yes, please.
Yeah, it's Jean Pierre.
Jean Pierre. Yes.
He's like one
Okay.
of
Because
the best poets I know. To me, he's like a modern day Lorca. He's so
oh,
amazing.
that is high praise, Jean Pierre. Take that to the bank. He's going to be joining me soon, a few weeks soon. So that I'm excited to.
So have you read his
I
poems
haven't.
already?
He hasn't sent
Okay,
it to me yet, but
okay.
yeah.
I'm
He
so glad.
says
So the other ones, did they respond?
I most of them did, yes. And they're going to be joining me later because Jean-Pierre and I connected. Yes, you're coming on very soon, around the time that you and I connected. So he's coming on soon, and then the ones you referred to me are October, December, or something like that in the future.
Actually, Jean Pierre was. It was the day after the election. A really quick story.
Yes, please.
And I wrote this poem, and I was just like, I was feeling really disheartened, and I Jean Pierre and I also we swap poems, we share poems, and I send a poem, and he's almost amazing, and we're like, we need this needs to be an anthology. It's like so then that's how it started, and so then I contacted my publisher and I said I have a proposal, and then a week later, that's how it happened.
It's meant to be.
It's amazing how that happens. You have somebody like that who believes in your work, who's
It's
inspiring, and goes, yes, we need to do
It's a
something.
necessity, I think.
So if it
I
wasn't for
think
Jean Pierre, this wouldn't have happened. He's been very helpful. He helped me out with some of the promotional stuff he's doing. He said he's all over the anthology. His poems are just so good. So I'm excited for people to read his work, and he's one of my favorite people in the world. He's amazing, and he's a really good friend. And uh, you're gonna have an excellent conversation with him because he's so much fun.
I'm looking forward to it, and I think that having people who you share your work with and who believe in you are essential. I would not still be writing without my people. So I just
Absolutely,
anybody who's watching, like if they don't just, it's so important. This even though it is a solitary thing, writing the whole thing of being a writer is not solitary. Can't be.
you know it's funny. I feel it looks like I have a um, mohawk, but I don't. It's
Oh,
just it's not a mohawk, but that's kind of cool. But it's just kind of puffed that way.
it looks good on you. So if in the future you're considering a mohawk, you can refer back to this and say, "Well,
Yeah, I'm like,
I can do it."
but I actually did get a haircut for this.
Oh, that's very lovely. So, any parting thoughts? Any last thoughts? Just thank you for your time and for all the people you referred to me and creating this anthology and just being a force for good out there.
I'm just
Thank you.
hoping that people stay
Yeah.
creative and they take um,
Yeah.
any of the angst or any kind of grief and just create art, paint, write songs, take photographs, um, write, write, write novels, scripts, plays. Um, we need all that. It's important that we need all kinds of art right now. It's so important. And I just
Mhm.
want to give a shout out to Lupe Montiel, our curator, who's doing an amazing job. Thank you, Lupe. And my, my publisher and my hermano
Mhm.
Edward from Flower Song, who's you know he's taken a chance on this anthology and he's been very supportive. And all the Flower Song books, I encourage um, anybody out there to visit Flower Song, and all of their books are so inspiring. And that's it.
Mhm. Well, thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for being here and sharing your poem and all of this. And I
It
look
always
forward to
goes by
reading.
so fast.
It does. I mean, I look forward to it every week
And
because
I could keep talking to you for
well,
hours,
thank
but
you. Same. Hopefully we'll meet in real life.
we will.
So yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Bye.